Hello, everyone. Juxtaposition here. This is going to be part 4 of my Hollywood Military Industrial Complex video series. Part 4. We just finished up with Benedict Canyon. Now I'm going to segue about 8 miles to the east on Sunset Boulevard, and we're going to discuss West Hollywood, where the Comedy Store is located, and the Body Shop. Two places I frequented when on my business trips to Century City and downtown Los Angeles. I used to go to West Hollywood for some entertainment and some delicious restaurant meals. All right, what I wanted to point out to you folks is that in and around the time of the Sharon Tate Abigail Folger murders, which was August 9th, 1969, just before that, we had Art Linkletter, who, lives up on the hill on Bel Air Road, just above the crime scene, looks down at their swimming pool from his swimming pool. He's at 1100 Bel Air Road. House has been torn down, of course, and it's just a vacant lot now. Anyway, wanted to tell you that just before that, Art Linkletter's son-in-law, John Zweier, who was married to Art Linkletter's eldest daughter, Dawn. The eldest child is Jack Linkletter, and he was alive and well. And Art Linkletter was in his 50s, was living there up in Bel Air, and on July 15th, 1969, about 3 weeks before Sharon Tate was murdered, who Art Linkletter knew her from CBS television, and he also knew Tom Coomer, Jay Sebring, because he was in Batman and the Green Hornet, which his son Robert was in Batman also. So they knew each other because Art Linkletter was the single most important CBS television actor of all time, Art Linkletter and his Playhouse show. Kids say the darndest things. Anyway, his son-in-law, John Zweier, was shot in the back of the head with a .38 caliber pistol in West Hollywood 3 weeks before we had the murder of Sharon Tate and Tom Coomer, who Art Linkletter also knew. So that's 3 people that Art Linkletter knew, and 2 were killed within 1,000 meters of his swimming pool, and 1 was killed at his daughter's home swimming pool in West Hollywood within 3 weeks. Then 2 months after that, on October 4th, 1969, Art Linkletter's youngest of 5 children, Diane. Remember, the eldest daughter is Dawn, and the youngest daughter is Diane. She's 20 years old, and she appears on his television show periodically. She's thrown out of her window at her luxury apartment, the Shoreham Towers, onto the sidewalk right in front of 1211 North Horn Avenue. 1211 is an apartment building across the street from her, and it houses CIA operatives like Ed Durston and others, including lots of papa, because he had a lot of illegitimate children. His name was Bernard Crow. He put that down on his booking as his address as 1211 North Horn Avenue. However, there's no proof that he ever actually lived there. He also lived over where Charlie Miles Maddox was given an apartment at the Magic Castle at 7000 Franklin Avenue. So we don't really know exactly where Lotsa Papa lived. He may have lived at 1211. It doesn't really matter. He's not implicated in the murder. Ed Durston is. Ed Durston was in Diane Linkletter's kitchen, at 9 o'clock in the morning when she gets tossed or thrown or jumps out of her 6th floor, face planting into the sidewalk, and she dies the next couple hours at USC Medical Center. And the media immediately calls it a suicide and by LSD. But there's no evidence that she took LSD. And Art Linkletter has a 4th person that he knows, right? His son-in-law, Sharon Tate, Tom Coomer, and his daughter, his youngest child, Diane Linkletter, is thrown out of her apartment. That's a murder. That's 4 murders in 3 months. 4 murders within 90 days. 4 people he knows. 4 young people he knows. Murdered in 90 days or less. Less than 90 days. You should know that Art Linkletter was so emotionally destroyed by that fact, 4 people in 90 days, that he went to Lake Tahoe with his wife and he could not go to the funeral service for Diane. He paid for it. That was on a Wednesday. That's on the 8th day of October, 1969. All right? And one of the neighbors who lives at 1211 North Horn, Connie Monty, also known as Tony Connie Monty, she attended the funeral. She's 31 years old. They come home from the funeral. She goes in her room and overdoses on barbiturates and alcohol. What a coincidence. And Ed Durston is her neighbor in that apartment. So you have Ed Durston is present in the kitchen baking cookies with Diane Linkletter when she goes flying out her 6th floor window. And then 4 days later, there's Ed Durston, who's next door neighbors with Connie Monte, who's 31 years old, and Ed Durston is 27 years old. And she's murder-suicided 4 days later. And that is across the street. I mean, that's like 150 feet away from Diane's body where she face-planted into the sidewalk. Within 150 feet of where Diane Linkletter died on the sidewalk, Connie Monty died in her room. You think that's a coincidence? I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet, okay? I'm not done yet. So that's 5 people killed within 90 days. That's 5. Then we go out a few years, okay? And we have Sal Mineo. Maybe you remember him from a movie that I believe Natalie Wood was in. I forgot. Yeah, I'm sure Natalie Wood was in that film, with James Dean and Sal Mineo. Anyway, he's 37 years old, and he's parking his car at, I got the address right here for you, so don't worry. Don't sweat. I got it. Sal Mineo. Where are you, Sal? He's living on Holloway Avenue. All right, here he goes. 8563 Holloway Drive. Sal Mineo's parking his car. It's February 12th, 1976. He's 37 years old. Anyway, he's shot dead. The reason that that's relevant is that guess who else lives in that neighborhood? And when I say lives in the neighborhood, within 200 yards away, we have David Cassidy's father, Jack Cassidy, who's 49 years old. Jack Cassidy, who had been married to Shirley Jones, right? The mother of the Partridge family. Shirley Partridge. Shirley Jones. Shirley Jones was married to Jack Cassidy, had David Cassidy. No, David Cassidy was with Jack Cassidy's first wife. I don't think he had children with Shirley Jones. But anyway, he gets divorced from Shirley Jones. He moves into an apartment right around the corner from Sal Mineo. And you won't believe the address. It's 1121 La Cienega Boulevard. Okay, it's 1 block from Sunset Boulevard. It's half a mile from where Diane Linkletter was killed. Okay? It's like 700 yards from where Connie Monty and Diane Linkletter were murdered. Within 700 yards of where Jack Cassidy was murdered. He was murdered. Okay, the cover story was that he got drunk, lit a cigarette, and in his Naugahyde sofa, and then incinerated himself without killing any of his neighbors. By the way, his body was not found in his Naugahyde couch. It was found right at the front door of his apartment, like he's trying to escape. So he got incinerated. Somebody incinerated him, okay? And he was burned beyond recognition. It took dental records to identify that, yeah, that's Jack Cassidy. And he dies, murders. He's murdered on December 12th, 1976, 12/12/76. Sal Mineo, February 12th, 76. You see a pattern here? 2/12/76. 12/12/76. They both live within 200 yards of each other. Sal Mineo is neighbors with Jack Cassidy. They are living within, within 400 yards of Diane Linkletter in the case of Salminio. He's just around the corner. It's a real short walk to get to the crime scene for the Diane Linkletter fake suicide, to get to the murder scene for Salminio, and I believe the murder scene for Jack Cassidy. So that's 4 people who are killed within a couple of blocks of each other in West Hollywood, straddling Sunset Boulevard. Connie Monte and Diane Linkletter were killed, 1 block up on North Horn at 12:11. Jack Cassidy is killed at 11:21 La Cienega, which is 1 block over and 1 block down. And Sal Mineo is in between. He's closer to Diane Linkletter and Connie Monte, and he's on Holloway Drive at 8563. You can Google those locations. That's 1211 North Horn Avenue and 1121 La Cienega and 8563 Holloway Drive. And you will find that they're within 2 blocks of each other. And those people were killed in 1969 and 1976. Kind of a little delay. I agree, it's a 7-year delay. But it's bang, bang on both of them. Bang, bang. So when you start to go a little bit further out from that particular crime scenes, where you're looking at within a 3-block radius, and you throw in Dominic Dunn's daughter, Dominique Dunn, Rebecca Schaefer, Inger Stevens, Janis Joplin, Lindsay Pearlman, okay? You start throwing in Ashley Ellerin, John Belushi from Saturday Night Live. You are getting up there in homicides. I mean, Lindsay Pearlman, Ashley Ellerin, who's 23 years old, Rebecca Schaefer, who I think is 20 years old, Dominic Dunn, who's like 21 years old, John Belushi's 32 years old, Jack Cassidy's 49 years old. I'm running out of fingers. Inger Stevens was, what was Inger Stevens? Inger Stevens was, gosh darn it, I can't find her. John Zweier was 33 years old. Natalie Wood was killed 33 days before the end of the year. Connie Monte was 31 years old. Diane Linkletter was 20 years old. Robert Linkletter is killed in a head-on car crash by a woman who went over the center line but was never charged with vehicular homicide, and he died at age 35. That was Art Linkletter's middle child, the 3rd child, Robert. It goes Jack, Dawn, Robert, then he had another daughter, and then he had Diane. And 2 out of 5 were murdered, plus his son-in-law, so that's 3. John Belushi was 33 years old. John Belushi was 33 years old, and he died at the Chateau Marmont Hotel. He died on March 4th, 1982. He was 33 years old. Aaron Valente, who last saw a Jewish banker at KKR at 2500 Sand Hill Road, she was 33 years old. John Zweier, son-in-law to Art Linkletter, he's 33 years old. That's 3 people killed at 33 years old. Salminio, 37 years old. Jack Cassidy, 49 years old. He appeared in 3 Columbo episodes, always as the killer. Inger Stevens was 35 years old. She was 35 years old. All right, so that's enough for today. Those are West Hollywood murders. If you add my Hollywood murders, when you throw in Rosemary and Lena LaBianca, Thomas Albert Decker, who was killed in his bathtub with handcuffed and asphyxiated with a rope tied around his shower curtain rod, which would never support your weight. And he's blindfolded and ball gagged, and that's a murder. They called it a suicide. I'm calling it a murder. When you add that in there, you're going to be up to 50, 60 homicides, not counting Dennis Wilson, right? Not counting David Jansen, not counting Nicole Brown Simpson or Ron Goldman, a Jewish boy who was stabbed to death, Gladio style, on Bundy Drive. Or Marilyn Monroe, who was killed walking distance from that scene off of San Vicente Boulevard, I think it is. And, Marilyn Monroe was killed on the north side of San Vicente Boulevard, and Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman were killed just south, like 1.5 blocks south of San Vicente Boulevard near Gretna Green. And you can really get your numbers to get into the 60s and 70s murder category. All right, so thanks for listening. Hit the like and subscribe. Do share my channel. I am Shadow Banned. I have 5 channels. I have 3 at BitChute. I have 1, believe it or not, at YouTube, which could be deleted at any moment, at any time. They've done it to me once already. And I'm at Rumble. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon.